Coming up on PAC News, friends and family mourn the loss of a slain USC student. We'll tell you how you can stay safe.
We'll show you how St. Joseph Abbey is recovering from the flood.
And how long this beautiful weather will continue. And we'll take you live to the ballpark as the Baby Cakes prepare for their season opener. These stories and more coming up next.
A college student whose body was found in a field hours after she got into a vehicle she mistakenly thought was an Uber ride died from multiple sharp force injuries. That's according to the South Carolina Law Enforcement Division.
Family and friends are mourning the loss of University of South Carolina student Samantha Josephson. The 21-year-old senior was kidnapped and killed early Saturday. Police arrested 24-year-old Nathaniel Rowland after surveillance video showed Josephson mistakenly entering a car that she thought was an Uber, leaving from a night out with friends. Nathaniel Rowland is in jail, charged with kidnapping and murder.
The weekend killing has left many concerned about ride sharing.
Reporter Kelly Sanchez joins us live from the Xavier Police Department. Kelly, what are experts telling you?
Hey y'all, I'm here with Lieutenant Moore, Senior, of the Xavier University Police Department. So what are some ways that you suggest students stay safe whenever they call Uber or Lyft or other rideshare?
Well, the different rideshare companies, Uber and the others, have put in great safety features. The breakdown is that the requesters requesting a ride, they're not going through the proper safety procedures for checking the license plate and making sure that the picture that you have of the driver is the driver. And that's very important. In this modern age, you get so engrossed with our cell phones or what have you, forget that's lessons and it happened. That individual's talking on the phone when the car pulled up, she just got into, she didn't check the license plate. But if we do those different features, we check license plate and check the picture of the driver, that's one of the best things that we can follow.
And speaking generally, what can university security or police do to help students make sure that they are, doing the right safety steps?
Well, we have our different safety briefings. We have safety briefings as far as our protocol for acting at Mardi Gras and different stuff around our university. We bring that up constantly. Some of the things that went wrong, certain things, if we leave in groups, you stay in the group. If 5 people leave, 5 people return together. Nobody separates. That's one of the features you should put in place. And then verifying the drive. I cannot impress how important it is to verify that that's the part that you're with.
So, you heard him say constant reminders from the university, staying with the group, and then verifying that you have the right license plate and the driver. Thank you very much for your time. I really appreciate it. For now, back to you guys.
Thanks, Kelly. The amount of women traveling alone has skyrocketed. But among these business excursions and post-worthy locations lies a darker story of assault and violence, bringing to question the way the world still treats women. Reporter Claire Mouton reports.
On a study abroad trip to Prague, Brianna Jankuska decided to expand her horizons. Following class protocol, Jankuska left her hostel while only in groups, yet still managed to run into danger.
When I was studying abroad in Prague, I was taking the streetcar by myself, and I was sitting and a man came up to me next to me and exposed himself and touched himself right next to my head. It was not ideal. I don't know.
According to a study done in 2018 by Hostel World Group, female solo bookings at hotels have increased by 45% between 2015 and 2017. With the numbers growing, hotel employees have compiled a few tips and tricks for women to stay safe.
I would say just be digital, be visual, don't carry big handbags, keep your cash in the inconspicuous spots. Don't wear a lot of jewelry because people do watch. And I would say for the hotel, don't get a room that's right by the elevators or right by staircases. Always try to get somewhere in the middle. That way, if someone is waiting by the staircase, if they've been watching you, they won't know, they won't have that easy access to you. So
Tips on traveling. Get information beforehand on places to go and dangers that might be and stuff like that.
Just be aware. Don't be obnoxious. Remember, you're in someone else's place, not your own.
Claire Mouton, PAC News.
For more ways to learn how to stay safe while traveling, visit nationwide.com/travel safety tips.
Joe Biden hasn't yet declared his candidacy for the 2020 campaign, but he's already dealing with the scrutiny of a campaign. Reed Binion reports.
I'm glad that he is clarifying his intentions.
Former Nevada Lieutenant Governor nominee Lucy Flores responding to a statement from former Vice President Joe Biden regarding her allegations about behavior she says made her feel uneasy at a 2014 campaign rally.
Very unexpectedly and out of nowhere, I feel Joe Biden put his hands on my shoulders, get up very close to me from behind, lean in, smell my hair, and then plant a slow kiss on the top of my head.
Flores made the allegations against Biden Friday in an essay for The Cut. Biden released a statement Sunday saying he's offered countless handshakes and hugs on the campaign trail, quote, "and not once, never did I believe I acted inappropriately. If it is suggested I did so, I will listen respectfully, but it was never my intention." Flores says that's not exactly the point.
My point was never about his intentions, and they shouldn't be about his intentions. It should be about the women on the receiving end of that behavior.
Some Democratic presidential hopefuls that Biden may be competing against also weighed in.
I know the vice president addressed it there in that statement, and he will continue to address it if he decides to get into this race.
I'm not sure that one incident alone disqualifies anybody, but her point is absolutely right. And this is an issue the entire country has got to work on.
I'm Reed Binion reporting.
Now the hundreds of migrants that have already crossed the border are being released into Texas towns every day. Border Patrol says there is no room to hold them. One CBP facility is more than 350% over capacity. Natasha Chen shows us how some of these migrants are being ushered into the U.S.
Arar Garcia can't remember which day he got to the U.S. It's been a blur. U.S. authorities gave him an ankle bracelet, and he's trying to get to a relative in Kansas, all to escape the dire economy and violence in Guatemala.
I worked on the fields, growing coffee plants.
He's one of at least 2,000 migrants who have already been dropped off by Customs and Border Protection into McAllen, Brownsville, and Harlingen because officials say there's just no room to hold them. In McAllen, CBP drops migrants off at Catholic Charities. If their U.S. relatives can buy them a bus ticket, they are then taken to the central bus station. Their long journey to the U.S. is now followed by confusion, a release with notices to appear in court, which many of them don't understand.
I explain to them what to expect up front. I tell them, immigration is going to ask you, where are you going?
Luis Guerrero is a volunteer who's seen and heard all their stories, including that of a 4-year-old girl whose family was robbed by men with machetes.
She said, "I'll never forget you." And I said, "Why, Mama?" She said, "Because you were the first one to tell us, welcome to the United States." That really hit me.
He helps all of them onto their next destinations. In McAllen, Texas, I'm Natasha Chen reporting.
Stay on the lookout for school zones because the rules have changed under the Cantrell administration. Drivers will be ticketed for going only 2 miles over the school zone speed limit. It used to be 6. School zones are in effect between 7 and 9 in the morning and 2:45 and 4:45 in the afternoon.
Using your blinker is something simple. You can do it while you're driving, but according to a new study, most drivers don't. Reporter Tristan Emmons tells us that a simple click could save your life.
It only takes a second, showing others on the road you want to move left or right. But experts say many drivers aren't using them, and it's causing a lot of problems.
I think it's a very vital part of driving. I don't think people really appreciate the value of the blinker as much as they ought to. I can't guess what you're going to do, so it's best for me to at least have some foresight. So if you put your blinker on, it gives me a chance to brake if I have to, or give you space if you need that.
1 in every 750,000 misused blinkers causes a car crash. 25% of drivers do not use their blinker when making a turn, and almost 50% of drivers do not use their blinker when changing lanes. Blinkers are very easy to use, and they are a great method for preventing car crashes. The study by the Society of Automotive Engineers reveals just how important it is to make other drivers on the road aware of your intentions.
But don't try to catch them off guard. Always let the other driver know your intention, so it leads to road rage and accidents. It only takes the click of a finger. That's all it takes. But they don't do that.
So next time you're moving from lane to lane or making a turn, experts say take that simple step and use your blinker to make sure your ride is as safe as possible. Tristan Emmons, Back News.
Stay safe on the road and make sure to use your blinkers out there. Coming up, how a community came together to help those who help others. And
I'll take you to the New World Rhythms Festival in Congo Square. Stay with us.
See on page 4 that the projections need to be flood next Thursday.
Seriously? Thursday? Can't do that.
This is really inconvenient.
I have yoga that day. I have no time for this. So.
I can't do Thursday, but I can do Friday.
Disasters don't plan ahead. You can. Talk to your loved ones about how you're going to be ready in an emergency. Don't wait. Communicate.
3 years ago in March, waters flooded areas of Covington. Caitlin Cleveland takes us to St. Joseph Abbey, where good came from tragedy.
Tucked away with church bells ringing, birds chirping, and silence, St. Joseph Abbey is home to many.
There's just something about when you come over the bridge. I hear people tell me all the time, whether they're here for a business meeting or an old friend that's coming by to see the monks, there's just this peace that you feel.
And that peace was met by waters. On March 11, 2016, waters flooded St. Joseph Abbey and Seminary College and damaged 31 buildings. The Abbey is known for its cypress caskets, and Deacon Mark Coudrain was working in the shop on that day.
We spent the night in there. The water came up about 2 feet in the woodworking shop. So every piece of equipment, for the most part, was affected.
The losses may exceed $30 million, but it opened the door to rebuild.
The silver lining on it is now we have all these beautiful buildings. We're still in that process. We still have a few more buildings to go, but they hadn't had a new building on campus, I think, in like 40 to 50 years.
It becomes honey, and at that point, you can
On the
see
sweet
all this
side,
white.
Jeff Horkov has been buzzing up business for Abbey honey since before the flood. The waters wiped all the bees out, but it didn't stop him.
It really made me more diligent in the effort to grow the bees. So that's what I did. I was very aggressive in going and taking bees out of people's houses and catching swarms and just bringing them to the Abbey.
The Abbey will be focusing on 4 main buildings, with much patience for funding and gratitude for the help from the community. Caitlin Cleveland, PAC News.
St. Joseph Abbey holds fundraising opportunities throughout the year and help in the rebuilding process.
Celebrating the history of Congo Square. That's what thousands of people did as they wandered through Louis Armstrong Park at the New World Rhythms Festival. Mardi Gras Indians took the stage in Congo Square this weekend to celebrate a spot known for its place in African American history.
We come here to commemorate those times and remember our ancestors that were here before us.
Music filled the square as festival goers enjoyed traditional New Orleans cuisine and an art market. And even out-of-towners like Canadian Pierre Hamilton showed up to pay tribute.
So I was like, I want to find, like, if there's an Indian battle or a second line, how do we do that? And it just so happened that when we were looking it up, I was like, there's a festival at Congo Square, which is the place that I wanted to come.
I am standing here in Congo Square. You can see the stage right behind me. Organizers expect 5,000 to 7,000 people to show up this weekend for the fun, for the music, the food, and a special appearance from the Mardi Gras Indians.
It's been really cool so far. There's a lot of really good booze, a lot of really good food, a lot of really good music.
All this for free. A nod to Congo Square, the historic meeting place for many enslaved African Americans. They gathered, as many do today, to celebrate cultural traditions and keep a piece of history alive. The festival is put on by the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Foundation, the same nonprofit that sponsors Jazz Fest. Proceeds from Jazz Fest make events like the New World Rhythms Fest possible.
Coming up, what you need to prepare for weather-wise in the Crescent City.
And what's next for the final four teams in the NCAA men's basketball tournament. That's ahead.
This is the story of a boy who didn't talk for a long time. The boy liked things to always be the same. Any changes would scare and upset him. The unknown was an unfriendly place. The boy was very sensitive to lights and sounds. So he built secret hiding places where they couldn't get in. The boy didn't like looking people in the eye. He wasn't trying to be mean, it just made him feel uncomfortable. Sometimes he would flap his arms again and again.
One day, I found out I have something called autism. My family got me help. Slowly, I found my voice and learned all the ways I could live with it better.
Early intervention can make a lifetime of difference. Learn the signs at autismspeaks.org.
Now, what's the latest in weather? Claire?
All right, good afternoon, everyone. It looks like today will be our last bright and sunny day this week. We're looking at 59 right now and expecting a low of 51 degrees and a high of 69. Wednesday, we shouldn't see any rain, but if you plan to head outside during the week, strap on your rain boots and be sure to bring an umbrella. We'll be expecting heavy rainfall this Thursday through Sunday, with lows from the mid-60s to the high 70s. So if you're looking to go to Crawfest or Ferret Street Fest, make sure you're prepared. I have a feeling the New Orleanians aren't going to miss out on that, rain or shine.
Rain doesn't seem to stop anyone here, so that's certainly true.
Not one bit.
Thanks, Claire. We'll take you live to the Shrine on Airline, where Baby Cakes Media Day is underway. That and more on sports. Stay with us.
Back to you, Lester.
Thanks, Taylor. And in our final story of the night, Maroon has been ranked as one of the top student newspapers in the nation by the Princeton Review. Spring is in the air, which means baseball is here. The city's minor league baseball team will be opening up their season on Thursday against the Round Rock Express. Reporter Nick Boulay is live at the Shrine on Airline. How's Baby Cakes Media Day going, Nick?
As you can see, it's a beautiful day out here. We've got a nice breeze, and it really feels like spring. And with that comes baseball. I'm here with the Baby Cakes general manager, Cookie Rojas. So, Cookie, why don't you tell me, what kind of promotions do you guys have set up for this season?
I think the biggest promotions, Nick, are going to be Thursday night, which is our Thirsty Thursdays, and you bring your dog out to the park. Our Friday night fireworks are going to be great, and every Friday night we're going to have a giveaway with a special theme. We've got some great bobbleheads, so if anyone's a fan of bobbleheads and fireworks, you're definitely going to want to check out our promotions. And then, of course, just Saturday night baseball coming out to the park. So those are the big ones that we have this year.
All right, sweet. Sounds fun. So you got a couple of all-star guys in Zach Gallen and Austin Dean coming back this year. Is the club excited to have these guys back?
Yes and no. Yes, for me personally, I really enjoy hanging out with those guys. There's some really quality individuals and some great ball players. But on a professional level, I hope that they get up to Miami as soon as possible. They're really talented. I hope they get up there. And one guy you're forgetting to mention too is Isaac Galloway, who made his debut last year after 10 years of being in the minor leagues, and he needs to be back up there as soon as possible too.
All right, yeah, well, good luck to them. And lastly, so what are you looking forward to in the season? You have any goals?
Yeah, I hope that this is the first year since 2007 that the team makes the playoffs. I think the city's starving for a team that's going to make it to the playoffs, a baseball team that can make it to the playoffs. And I think we have a good quality group of young prospects that are going to help us get there. And then a group that's also going to help the Marlins develop as they start to transition into a more of a championship caliber ball club.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Cookie. It was great having you here. Thank you for your time, and back to the studio.
Thanks, Nick. March Madness is coming to a close, and the Final Four is officially set. 2-seed Michigan State upset the powerhouse Duke Blue Devils in a thrilling 68-67 win on Sunday, and this will be the 8th Final Four appearance for the Spartans under head coach Tom Izzo. The Texas Tech Red Raiders clinched their first Final Four appearance in school history after beating 1-seeded Gonzaga on Saturday afternoon. And on the other side of the bracket, 5th-seeded Auburn Tigers clinched their first trip to the Final Four after upsetting SEC rival Kentucky in overtime on Sunday. The Tigers will face the Final Four's only 1-seeded team, the Virginia Cavaliers, after they needed overtime to outlast the Purdue Boilermakers in an 80-75 victory. Both Final Four games are set for Saturday night, with the Auburn-Virginia matchup first, followed by Michigan State-Texas Tech on CBS. So what's next for the LSU Tigers and Coach Will Wade? The Spartans ended LSU's magical basketball season in the Sweet 16 Friday night with no head coach. The Spartans cruised to a 17-point wire-to-wire win. With the season in the books, the status of LSU's basketball program is left with uncertainty. Will head coach Will Wade make it back to Baton Rouge for a third season? Will LSU's most intriguing draft prospects, Naz Reid and Tremont Waters, enter the 2019 NBA draft? It's a wait-and-see game for right now. And finally, Special Olympics Louisiana springs into action in the best way by hosting an independent track and field meet. Reporter Leah Banks gives us an inside look at the action.
For Special Olympics athletes like Ike, independent track and field meets are ways to have fun and show your talent. Surrounded by friends, family, loved ones, and caretakers, 60 athletes with disabilities competed in numerous events such as the standing long jump, the 100-meter dash, and even running long jump. Kieran Bolger, the development manager for Orleans Parish, is excited about the progress that the athletes have made throughout the season.
We did everything from a 25-meter to a mile, a bunch of different heats, bunch of different athletes, male and female. We also had a softball throw, some shot put, standing and running long jump. So overall, I think the event went amazing.
8 volunteers showed up with high spirits to support the athletes as they competed throughout the day.
I'm just looking forward to, seeing, meeting new people, having fun, seeing how they do, seeing all the athletes, how they progress.
And for some athletes, progress is simply putting one step in front of the other and having fun along the way. For athletes like me, it was a perfect opportunity to get to volunteer and work with athletes with disabilities. Hopefully, I cannot wait to see what Special Olympics Louisiana has in store for me next. So, this has been Leah Banks, PAC News.
Wow, what a heartwarming story, guys.
Yeah, it's really nice to see all those people get out there and get on their feet.
And
Absolutely.
all the volunteers that were there as well. That's awesome to see them out there. Coming up, are you looking for some good fried seafood for your Friday night Lenten penance?
We'll tell you how one Catholic organization is cooking up a feast. Stay tuned.
Here's to the things that can keep us safe. Those we use all the time with hardly a thought. Those that are silently standing by to save our lives. And now, those that we carry with us everywhere we go. Many mobile devices will now bring you wireless emergency alerts, real-time information directly from local sources you know and trust. With the unique sound and vibration, you'll be in the know wherever you are.
For many, Lent season means giving something up. But for the Knights of Columbus, it's about giving back.
As Tyler Wan shows us, they're doing it in the tastiest way possible.
Giving up meat for Lent can be hard, but the Knights of Columbus are making it a little bit easier.
They do have the best fish fry. Just the family atmosphere is awesome.
The Knights of Columbus are making sure that your Friday nights are filled with good food and good company.
It's a great thing to help bring the congregation together and have fun and have fellowship. It's a beautiful thing.
While at the same time offering a way for the community to give back.
We have an orphanage in Ukraine that we assist. We have a mission in Haiti.
The Catholic organization, the Knights of Columbus, throw their fish fries every other Friday during Lent at the Mater Dolorosa Church. While giving up meat for Lent may be hard for some, living in a city like New Orleans certainly makes it easier.
Of course, being in New Orleans, giving up meat for Lent is not that big of a sacrifice because we have so much seafood.
At only $10 a plate, you might find yourself missing meat just a little bit less. Tyler Warren, PAC News.
Well, I know what I'm doing Friday evening now.
Yeah, that looks delicious. Well, that's all we have for you today. I'm John Casey.
And I'm India Yarbrough.
See you next week.